Make sure to like and subscribe down below and comment.
Oh, also, comment down below, McGregor or Mayweather. Right?
Flip or flop, Star.
That's who it is. You got to make your mic's not on. Let me check.
She's 35, 34?
Yeah.
Why do girls like that look like they're older than me?
I don't know. Maybe it's because of it's our image of us in our head. Right?
She's an attractive woman.
Yeah, but if you've ever seen that show,
She's annoying as shit.
Yeah, you might rethink that. Well, I mean, physically you don't have to rethink it, but like the mental.
I gotta look now.
All right, I'm gonna start
Flip
the show.
Flop. I've got a headache.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. Do we have an intro?
No, you're making it up.
Clear my time off since it fucking sucks. Damn. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Spearhead transmission. It's
fantastic.
August
15th, 2017.
Yeah, 2017. It's time to break those chains and water that tree. We got
Well, that was a sponsored ad.
ad starting. Totally just ruined the YouTube feed. Make sure if you're watching us on YouTube to like and subscribe down below. Make some comments. Comment Mayweather or Geraldo.
Yeah.
No.
McGregor. Geraldo.
Yeah. I'd watch Geraldo fight.
Geraldo. You'd watch him fight Mayweather? Yeah. You think Mayweather would even try to attempt to hit him? Like he hit him and then run? Or would he just try to blast him? Like old Ring King him. Not
Geraldo?
Yeah.
He looks like he could be a mean motherfucker to me.
You think so?
Yeah. He's
old.
He's like one of those kids' dads you don't want to make mad when you're growing up because like that guy is gonna go off the handle about something.
He looks like Ed. That
smiling while he's talking.
He reminds me of the guy that was in that the Mexican guy Edward Olmos or whatever. And that Blood In, Blood Out. I don't know if he's in that.
Geraldo Rivera's and Blood In, Blood Out.
It might be.
I watched that show when I was
getting
a tattoo in the military. Watched Blood In, Blood Out.
I'm
trying to see who this lady is.
I know you're distracted with the Krista Mustafa. So you don't know the flip or flop.
I turned off
story.
My cable.
Yeah. So you now.
Why is she annoying? Is she just?
I mean.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay.
Get on my nerves.
All right. Good.
Now we're going to start the show. All right.
Welcome everybody.
To the Spearhead transmission. It's August 15th,
We're glad to have you.
It's time to break those chains and water that tree.
Welcome to our unprofessional podcast.
Dude, I've listened to some other podcasts just as unprofessional as ours.
Or more.
Yeah. I've heard some really bad ones.
Hey.
Yeah. 10 minutes of.
Hi, guys.
Like, can you hear me? Hey.
Is that?
Of course, no one's eating potato chips
or eating ice.
Chewing on ice like this podcast does.
We step it up.
Yeah,
the audio levels are superior to others.
We've got a guest tonight, Ginny Moonstone. Mm-hmm. She'll be joining us here shortly via Skype. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about because the United States is about to break out in a race war while being nuked by North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole time we were telling everyone to worry about Jade Helm back in the day. Turns out
we were wrong.
That was just bullshit.
I mean, it's like you kind of hedge yourself, right? We got to hedge ourselves on everything.
Yeah. So basically, all you should do is just worry about everything.
Everything.
Yeah, and then when it doesn't happen, just be glad.
Yeah,
it's like that's the advice that guy at the gym gave me, or us.
What did he say?
I'm going to try to increase my bench press by like 500 pounds in 2 weeks, and I know that's impossible. So whatever I gain will be better than nothing. So I'll gain something.
Well done, sir. Yeah. Well done.
What?
So I mean,
you're planning on not reaching your goals.
Yeah.
So you just plan on all this shit happening, and then it doesn't, and you're like, hey, you know what? We didn't die this week.
I guess that's good as long as you're not one of those people that are like, that goal is daunting. Maybe I should just forget that goal.
Yeah.
You know,
this 500 pounds was closer than making 500 pounds in 2 weeks, so I have improved.
Because I thought hard about it. And that's a lot to worry about.
Man, I'm thinking about buying how much time we got? 6 minutes. Thinking about buying a trailer with a tent on it and a shower, a rooftop tent.
Is it the one that you sent me?
Mm-hmm. I'm about to drive down to Oklahoma City and look at it.
You're moving into that stage of your life.
Just buying stuff.
Mm-hmm. Just buying things. Camping is moved into. You're gonna have this.
No, see, I thought that too. I was worried.
Or is this just a preparedness type of deal?
I was worried that it was gonna make. What the hell was that? Oh, I thought it was. I haven't. What is it? Transcended into the RV parking world or camping world. You know what I mean?
I hope not. That means that you're like 60.
Because my main love of camping is backpacking style camping. Where you're out in the woods away from everything. But this trailer, I figure I can use it at these run and gun things. I can use it for car camping. Mm-hmm. It's easy to set up. You can use it for hunting. Mm-hmm. I'll probably only use it once in reality and never use it again. End up selling it in 2 years or whatever. But I don't know. I feel
Where will you put it? In your garage?
No, out by my shed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big. That's why I want to see it. I got to pull it by my truck and see how it goes. But it's cool as you pull the ladder out. You know, take the cover off, pull the ladder out, fold it down, and it's set up. It's done.
That's pretty amazing.
And it's 6 feet off the ground or whatever it is, and you got a little ladder that goes up to it. I figure my kids would love it. Or I would love something like that when I was a kid. You know, like my favorite place to sleep in one of those RVs was the crow's nest or whatever they called it. Right?
That's where I slept. We used to. This is so unsafe.
It'd be. Driving, I'd be up there looking out the front window.
We'd had my grandpa had one of those campers that that you put on the back of a truck that's mounted in the truck bed, right?
Oh yeah.
And so where we would ride is we would ride above the cab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
I did that.
You'd be looking.
Boy Scout truck.
Yeah, that's how we would go clear across Wyoming. Everywhere we'd go. It's pretty. I mean, there's no way I would let my kids do that now. I mean, we used to open the door to the camper and look out the back while we're driving down the highway.
Yeah. Well, I heard there's a risk of carbon monoxide poisoning back there.
Probably. That might be what's wrong.
I think the bigger risk would be it smashing like a tin can with you inside of it. That thin ass.
Or head-on collision, you fly out the...
Or it going airborne, you know.
Yeah, it's not secure.
We were pulling an aluminum boat. We had an old Ford pickup when I was a kid, aluminum boat. Was shoved into the truck bed with the front on top of the roof. So it made a perfect drag, right? Mm-hmm. My dad took me and my brother fishing, and we're driving back, and that boat lands in the middle of the road, slides down there. There's no one out there. It's out in the country, but
we used to put that boat that I had in the back of my Jeep. It'd stick out the back. We just flipped it over. Remember? A little 14.
We sold
that boat.
That was the boat we said was air cooled, which wasn't air cooled.
It was water cooled.
This motor is air cooled. It just runs until it stops. And then you got to let it air cool, and then it'll start again. You take it apart,
there's an impeller.
Impeller on here. That's strange. Dude, I went to when we had that. I went to that boat store, bought an impeller off the shelf, and then cut it to match that existing one and put it in there, and it worked.
That's right. I remember it because you fixed it.
The good old days, man. That thing smelled like gas, and I still remember
That was a great day.
that day that we tried to paddle across that lake, and then ended up fixing it and getting it across the lake, and then
handcuff keys, and tackle box, hinge.
And I said, I'm gonna go get my truck, put the boat in, and you go to start it, and they're out there right by the boat ramp, like flying around in circles with the thing. And
I picture it like cartoons.
That's what it looked like. Yeah, the front was way up out of the water, and it was floored. There's smoke coming off.
I couldn't slow it down. I didn't know how. It's like
I just remember seeing you start it. It started immediately and was floored, and you're out there doing circles right by the figure eights and stuff.
Oh, for some reason that kills me anytime I think of it.
Hilarious. Doing a wheelie on it. Wheelie on the lake.
All right. We do have a guest tonight. Right. So we're like straight to it. No big intro tonight, guys. But so let's get her on the phone.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Hi.
Hey.
Can you see me? Oh, that's right. I can't see you. That's the whole point here, isn't it?
We're secretive.
No. I can't see you.
Oh.
I can see it. I can see it. No, I still can't see you.
Oh, it's actually not allowing. Hold on, just a sec.
Are we recording?
On YouTube. We're good though.
Okay.
Hey, there you are. Okay, fantastic.
Hey, here I am.
Okay, so what we'll do is let me make sure that this looks right. Oh, perfect. You're there. We're here. You can't see us.
I'm going to, because I can't do this without seeing you guys.
It may be a little delayed on your end.
Spearhead transmission. That's true, but I just I need to have
Yeah. You don't want it like us being wearing clown masks and
making funny faces. When
oh my God, are we live right now?
Yes.
On YouTube.
Why didn't you tell me that? What the heck?
It's all right.
Okay.
Look great. Okay. Everything's good. So
all right,
what we're gonna do?
Let's get started.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're actually recording the audio podcast, because that's where a majority of our listeners come from. YouTube, okay. We just started that. So basically what I'm doing is I'm paused on the true audio.
Okay.
And we are I'm going to play some music, and then we'll come back in with you.
The true audio.
And while Nick's I told you, he's flexing right now.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
It's totally delayed, but it's fine.
Well,
as long as I can see you guys and your lips moving, it's not that awkward. But otherwise, it's pretty awkward.
Can't you rewind it and get rid of that delay?
Let's see.
Or wait, no, fast forward.
No,
you'll
the future.
To excuse me, I'm technologically very challenged, so please bear with me.
You're gonna fast forward into the future, and that's not possible. All right, here we go. So
it is possible. Well, actually, technically, it is.
Where are we? We're now.
It's
happening now. It's happening now.
In the now. Okay. Got
All right. So it's gonna be a second. You're gonna hear. It's gonna sound like dead air, but then we'll introduce you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for joining us, anyways. All right. So here we go. All right, Jenny Moonstone's with us, right? All the way from, I don't know. Should we say a secret location or what? What's going on?
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
All right, okay. Tropical secret location, but,
Guam.
Not Guam. Hopefully not Guam. No. So, Jenny, we're not gonna do like a background or anything like that because we saw you I saw you on the Leak Project with Rex Bear, and we've had Rex on here before. And
have you?
Yeah, we've had him on here only one time, but it was a good.
Him off short?
We did.
Yeah.
We were still new to the whole YouTube thing, but No, he was great. But anyway, so we saw you on there, and I've kind of a little bit like followed, some of the stuff that you were doing, and then I was like, man, I was really impressed. You had talked about some Pizzagate stuff, and we kind of wanted to bring you back, and that's what you felt like talking about tonight. And so really, we're glad to have you, and everything that I've ever I've heard you say, I've been like, wow, I've looked into, and I think I talked to you last week, and you told me to look into adrenochrome hormone and stuff like that as well. So I did do some research, but we can get into that. Also, I shared with Nick one of your posts that you had on Facebook yesterday, and he was impressed. So, anyways,
well, if
we're
he's impressed, then that's it right
well,
there.
that's all it takes.
End the show.
Yeah.
Shut it down. It's done.
Right. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
Gold
well, thank you for that intro very much, and I really appreciate you guys having me. I mean, I'm just Jenny Moonstone over here, and it's really cool because I love Rex. He gave me a chance. He saw something in me and gave little old me a platform, and I've been trying to kind of talk about some of these things for years now. And when I was 24 years old, nobody would pay any attention to me. I was just this dumb girl, some young chick that thought she knew something. And so I had to get a little bit older. And that's pretty much the only thing that changed, was that I got older and wiser to what was going on. So I'm always forever grateful to Rex for, for him having me on the League project. And so thank you guys for having me.
For sure. So you do have a website. It's called Moonstone Musings, right?
Yes, I do.
Great.
That's my business website. I'm a tarot reader. I'm an intuitive. Me and Heidi Vandenberg. You can find us over at Channel 27 on YouTube. We're doing this really cool thing where we get people's birth information, like the time of birth, the month, the location, and all that stuff. And we read people's charts. She handles the astrology. She's like an astrology whiz. And I handle the tarot and the vision work part of it. And it's really fun. It's really new. It's super exciting. So you guys check us out over there anytime.
Dude,
for sure.
Tarot cards always scare me.
Tarot cards, they scare me a little bit too.
The pictures are creepy.
Yeah.
Reminds me when I was a kid.
Well, it depends what deck you get. There are some that are super creepy that, it depends what your taste is.
The Care Bear deck is the one that gets me. That's like the most terrifying one.
That's pretty creepy, for sure.
Deck?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
There might
be.
I mean, and it would be scary.
Like it just. I mean, I want to get off. Well, we're gonna get off subject here, but
Yeah.
the pictures that always.
Yeah. I
It
get
reminds me of
you.
seeing something I shouldn't have seen when I was a kid. I like creepy stuff, but even still, I don't know.
Well, I think it's the idea behind it, right? Like it's unknown, and the pictures can be scary too. So you're like, ooh, it's taboo, right?
They're the devil's playing cards.
The Pope told you not to play with cards. Go ahead.
It's what people don't know about tarot that scares them, and it's like that with everything. It's what people don't know that scares them or intimidates them. But really, there's nothing scary about tarot. Just about the scariest thing about tarot is how accurate it is, and B, that it won't lie to you. And furthermore, it will call you on your bluff. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, somebody's shadow, or, also known as their secret side, comes through in the cards. And it's very revealing. You see a lot of things that you wouldn't hear this person say. And obviously, all readings are done with consent. Consent is a huge part of any reading process, energy readings, tarot readings. You can't just read people without their consent. However, we do, over at Channel 27, we do like celebrities and political figures. Their being in the public eye is their consent to be read. Like any celebrity, public figure, they put themselves out there for people to, do with them what we will. So, yeah.
I've actually, when did I have that done? A long time.
You had a tarot reading done?
I think.
I had a girlfriend when I was like 22 that was like, she thought she was a witch, and she was like, did all these things. And
what do you mean she thought she was a witch?
No, she did. Like, she wasn't. I don't think she really was a witch. I'm not that, like, she wasn't she was not sold. Like she was kind of in that whole like
New Age.
Yeah, and like was like it didn't know. You know how like you don't really know what you are at the. She was at that age, and I thought she put a curse on me whenever like, and I was like, uh-oh.
She smoked those Cretek cigarettes. What are those called? The hippie cigarettes.
The cloves.
Leaves.
Oh no, I don't know. I like clove cigarettes.
If you're a witch, you have to smoke clove cigarettes.
Yeah, she did smoke cloves too.
Well, she's a full-blown witch.
Might have been. Maybe I was cursed.
Could she swim?
I can't tell you how many men have told me that they felt that they were hexed by an ex-girlfriend. And I think more than any of those women actually being practitioners of magic, a woman is a powerful being. An angry woman is a powerful being, a jealous woman, a scorned woman, and women, as you know, and men also have the ability to put hexes on people. When you talk crap about somebody, that's a form of black magic. This is will, this is intention, this is emotion spoken with that person's name, that frequency. You put that out into the universe. It could be argued that is a form of magic. So it's just interesting to me because, you know, a lot of guys are like, she put a hex on me, and it's like, no, you know.
She just said some bad stuff about me, and that.
Right.
It
happens.
I'm an automotive operator witch then, because all I do is like drive,
cuss at your car,
and, like throw out hexes all day.
No, I mean, that's funny. Cuss at your car.
I mean, I'm driving around getting pissed off at people. You stupid son of a, you know, like.
Oh my gosh, it's the road rage.
All right.
Road rage witch. All right, we're good.
Wow.
Anyway, so Pizzagate, I mean, people have like just completely forgot about it for the most part, right? It's been
I would say news, other than the people that are like diehard.
Yeah, everyone says it's fake news, and you don't hear shit about it. Like, oh, it's nothing. Don't worry about that. You know. Time has come. So Jenny, you've done a lot of research in reference to Pizzagate.
Well, I have, and what we have, well, I can only speak for myself. What I have discovered is that Pizzagate, aka Pedogate, as a story, as a particular scandal, and remember, when we're talking about Pizzagate, we are talking about the leaked Podesta emails released last November, and you know, in those emails were found extremely disturbing code words. You know, the FBI has these legends, these key code words that the pedophile community uses. And yes, there is a large pedophile community globally. But so when we're talking about Pizzagate, we're talking about these emails. But you know, what has really happened is that upon investigation, independent researchers have found so much circumstantial evidence to support that Pizzagate is not an isolated incident, that this sort of thing happens globally, that these people are extremely protected, highly funded, and as a matter of fact, they depend so wholly on the blood that it's in. I believe, and a lot of people that I know that are really up on this believe, that what we're witnessing currently in terms of the Russian narrative, you know, the Russian collusion, and even things that happened over the weekend, World War III, Civil War, all this distraction, all of this contrived news is actually damage control and diversion to steer away from Pedogate, because and I'm taking words from Robert David Steele. He's ex-CIA. He's great. I personally really respect the man for his work. But, you know, his words are that the elite pedophilia rings, these sex trafficking rings, it's the Achilles heel of the elite. And that is because they need the blood. They need the energy of children, the sexual energy, the fear energy. They need this in order to stay in power. And so what has happened is that we've discovered how sinister it really is, and it is more disgusting and unimaginable than anybody really was prepared for, and it's nothing new. And you know, when you say that nobody's talking about it anymore, I have to disagree, but that's just because I'm in that, you know, I'm in that world all the time, and so I know that it's being spoken about. Are we hearing about it in mainstream media? Of course not, and I don't think that we will until, we have to continue to push to get this out. And, just ask yourself, what do you think the government would do, knowing very well that their secrets are coming out, and they're coming out quickly at a steady leak, if you will? What would I do? Try to put yourself in the mind of a psychopathic, somebody in the oligarchy. What would you do? You want to distract them. You want them to attack each other. Because if everybody knew what was actually going on, I really do have enough faith in humanity that people would rise up and hang these people for what they're doing to our children, all of our children, not just white kids or black kids, like all kids, everybody. They don't discriminate. They're taking hundreds of thousands of children go missing every year and never to be found again. And they're being given to these elite trafficking rings, sometimes not so elite. Sometimes some of these kids get passed around in the DCF, in the foster system, all of it. They're all connected. Everybody is working together to facilitate these elite trafficking rings, and it's fucking disgusting, and it makes me sick. But I focus on it so much because I believe in my bones that this is the Achilles heel. This is what we need to attack viciously, relentlessly, in order to stop them, because it is their food supply. You know what I mean? How do you attack your enemy? We'll never defeat them in the field. Never. We will never be able to battle them into submission. We have to cut off their supply. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. So so to clear some things up for people that are listening that don't know. So when you're talking about they have to harness the children's energy, and they need it, and what you're referencing is the adrenochrome hormone, right? And so, and this may sound far-fetched to people, because most people that first and foremost, they're probably like, whoa, this is really heavy that you're hitting me with right away. And then to take it to the next step and saying, okay, that these beings or these individuals or these humans need to feed on this, then okay, so
so are we talking like these people aren't humans?
I think that they're referencing that they're not 100% human, like they're not fully human, or that they're not. Is that it?
Well, I mean, I think that people are going to have to look at some of these terms that we use, such as human and non-human, and define them carefully. Okay. Because there are people in this world, plenty of people that have different blood types, okay? Mm-hmm. And the Rh negative group, for example, there are people arguing that they have the blood of aliens. So we need to start defining what a human is, what an alien is. And so do I believe that the people that we're talking about, the elite, these people that need the blood, there are people that indulge in this, that don't actually need it. But the beings that live on this planet that have extended their lifespan and have all this money and these resources to partake in this, the consumption of the blood, I believe that they're not like you and I. They're different. Do I know the science behind it currently? No, I don't. Mm-hmm. Do I think that they're shape-shifting reptilians? Stranger things have happened, and nothing shocks me. When you get to this level and you become privy to what is normal for them, you realize very quickly that we have no fucking idea. Can I say the F word? Sorry, that was my last one.
No, you don't. You can. No,
I don't really use it. So
you're fine. Okay. You're 100% fine.
But the adrenochrome, this is a very dark, disgusting topic, and I hate it. I'm going to feel like crap now for the next 2 days just bringing it up, but it has to be talked about, because this is why, because people don't want to talk about it. But in order to surge this hormone in the body, in the energy of a child, you have to torture them, you have to terrorize them. And so this is the cycle, and this is what they do. And I catch a lot of crap sometimes because people are like, well, you should put your energy into other topics. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to, because I think that this is really what counts. I mean, this race war or class war and all this stuff about gender, I think all of it is a distraction. And more importantly, I think it's a campaign to normalize pedophilia so that when the secrets really start to come out, people might just look the other way. I don't know. I really don't know what people would do. You know what I mean? I mean, we've discovered how huge the population of pedophiles or pedo-friendlies or pedo allies are just in this country alone. There are channels on YouTube geared that are up and running, geared towards pedophiles. You know, the owner, the CEO or founder of Reddit, for example, is implicated as being a cannibal. That you can't make this shit up, you guys. You can't make this shit up. But it certainly makes sense to me why the people at the top would be these animals, these beasts, if you will, to kind of stand at the top of the temple and observe everything that's going on. So if they see a ripple, somebody's, you know, they're getting onto us, they can attack it, which is why we're seeing censorship of Pedogate, all topics, all videos on the pedophilia, adrenochrome, all of these things are getting censored on Google, on YouTube. If you Google Pizzagate right now, it's a widely debunked conspiracy theory, and it's just indicative of how scared they are and how badly they don't want this to come to light.
Well, go ahead. That's what I was going to say earlier when I said no one's talking about it. I feel like it feels like there was a big push to
to silence it,
like quickly. You know, look how dangerous it is. We don't know what this is true. This guy had a guy show up with a AR-15 in this restaurant, and you know, look at this. This is crazy,
right?
And that's what gets me. And you know, we've talked on this podcast before that, like, what kind of guy drives across country to another restaurant and walks in with an AR-15 to do some investigation?
A paid crisis actor.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, that's what I mean when I'm saying, you know, no one's talking about it. I know there's a lot of people that have devoted a lot of time and are looking into this. And
won't stop.
What's crazy to me, and this is what I've thought on, because I started watching this other show on Netflix, but it's not tied to Pizzagate, but it's about this.
Still about pedophilia.
Well, kind of. It's the Keepers, I think it's called. It's about this priest that rapes all these girls at this Catholic high school, right? I'm watching it, and I'm like, what kind of person do you have to be? And you know, I wasn't aware of the RH negative thing with this, but
we had talked about it before on this show.
What kind of person do you have to be to do this to kids? You know what I mean? And the fact that so many people just blow it off when it was obviously, and I'm not real deep into the investigation of all this, but there was obviously stuff happening. There was obviously coded messages being sent that were sent out, and people just blow it off because the mainstream media said, "Oh, you don't need to worry about that." And like, "Oh, I don't need to." It's like the Jedi scene. You're like, we're not the droids you're looking for or whatever.
I'll tell you though, what is amazing from this, and it's not. I don't think it's going to stop. And here's what it is that there's an ancillary effect that's happened from this Pizzagate, and also we've had a guest on here. His name was George Webb, who what's happening is you're seeing independent researchers really starting to take hold, and a lot of, even though you're getting a lot of, you'll still get the, what do they call them, like not COINTELPRO people, but the people that will just try to distract you within the actual group.
Sure.
Right, but you're starting to see a lot of the independent researchers popping up, and webs of them, tons of them, and the whole idea is that it is going to start shining a light, and I think that it's going to try to change the dynamic of how we're going to start getting to the truth of things, instead of having people. I mean, we know that, you know, mainstream media is paid, they're just paid shills, right? Owned, right? Yeah. And so we're seeing this, and the technology is allowing us to do this, which I mean,
like our podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Well, people like Jenny, right? Like, but okay, so. Yeah. So I want to go back, because it's something that, I mean, we did kind of gloss over it, but I want to go back, and there is a lot to the adrenochrome hormone, and there's a lot, like, to the idea that what is it, even if it were just a adrenaline based drug, right? Like if all the people have ever seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, right? That was based off of hunter Thompson.
Yeah,
right. So this whole, and he was like, oh no, it's out there. Well, let's think about that for a minute. This guy, this Hunter S. Thompson guy is obviously fucking crazy, number one. But he, like people like Stanley Kubrick, like people like all these people that are inside these circles, they're going to let bits of pieces of truth out. And even though you can say, oh, okay, this guy's crazy, it doesn't mean anything, but there probably is a little bit to each one of the a little bit to this lunacy, and the more that I read about this stuff, the more that it starts to like it's in my brain, and it makes me so sad. I saw a video of and I don't know if the video was even real. I don't even know, but it was in relation to the Chester Bennington and the Tony Podesta, saying that, okay, this is possibly a video of Tony Podesta abusing Chester Bennington as a child. And it was just, he had this kid in a shower and had the shower turned up really hot and was just cussing at him and all that stuff. And like, what type of person does that? Like, where does that come from? And can you speak to anything about that? The Chester Bennington and Tony Podesta?
I would like to. Thank you for bringing it up. And I don't know if you caught it, but I knew that you were going to bring that up, and I said the word Skippy. Skippy is John Podesta's alter, if you will.
Right.
He's the dark side, the nasty side. Can we actually confirm as of right now whether or not that is actually John Podesta? No. And even more speculative is whether or not that's Chester Bennington. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is speculative. However, circumstantial evidence really counts for something. I mean, let's use our common sense here. Do we not have brains? And it really does make sense. And you asked, how do people get like this? And there's something I would like to highlight. I was born into an intelligence family. I'm not going to get into it right now, but I did live in D.C., where my dad worked for 7 years in Fairfax County, Virginia, which is actually at one point, I don't know if it's their current home, although I believe it is, Fairfax County, Falls Church, Virginia, more namely, which is exactly where I lived, is the home of Tony and John Podesta. And so I feel very close to this because of, my dad's work and that kind of association. It's a very exclusive world, if you will, the world of DC, the deep state agencies. John and Tony Podesta's mother, her name is Mary Kay Podesta. She was very popular in the DNC circles back in the 70s and 80s. And this is just an example to kind of illustrate for you a little bit of the background of how the psychology of these people. She was known by many as kind of the mother figure for a lot of people. She raised millions herself. Her cooking brought people in. And if you've done any research on it, their big thing is cooking, spirit cooking. They're foodies, right? They love their food. And I read an article penned in 2007 about Mary Kay Podesta. And, for some reason, they thought it was important to bring up in the article that she knew her pastas and her sauces. And we have in the code, they use pasta and sauce, walnut sauce. Those are all codes for disgusting things related to the sexual abuse and torture of children. And so it's just very much like they love to rub this shit in our faces. But after John and Tony Podesta left their home, Mary Kay Podesta took ownership or guardianship of 25 individuals, raised them, and who knows where they've gone. But I wanted to illustrate to you kind of how this works is that they create farms. And these are programming situations where people get, who knows what happened to these kids, but it's a psychological trauma, physical trauma that takes place at a very young age in order to perpetuate the cycle. So I'm suggesting, and this is speculation, of course, as of right now, that this type of cycle, this systematic SRA, the ritual abuse, this is generational. This is consistent throughout the generations. And John and Tony Podesta are traumatized individuals themselves because more than likely they were also abused. And so, you know, when we look at the psychology of somebody that can do this to a child, we have to realize here that we're dealing with broken individuals. They don't function like you or me. There's something wrong. And so I really wanted to bring her up because she just struck me as, you know, when I started to research her, she just struck me as this like evil witch, and I believe that that's what she is. These people are very tied in with all kinds of occult rituals and things like that. Now, I have nothing against the occult. There's really good magic out there, really, really good, strong, powerful magic now needed in society more than ever. And I hope to see a resurgence of a lot of these ancient ways. But then there are people like John and Tony Podesta and people that associate with him that partake in extremely dark ritual, of which children are extreme value because of their energy and their blood.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, the big spirit cooking thing that came out a few months ago.
Yeah.
When was that?
It was like October.
You Ray Charles now?
Spirit cooking. It was the October surprise.
Right.
Marina Abramovich, all the celebrities. You know, Hollywood is a cesspool of pedophilia, and they're all in on it. Everybody is bought and paid for. Don't trust a single talking head on your television, anybody out of Hollywood. I mean, just post-election, Hollywood has completely lost it. Everybody is acting so psychotic. They're losing their minds because the hive is being poked. I honestly believe that we really are, that they're running out of time and they're acting out of desperation. And this is an opportunity for us to strike. What do you do when your enemy is weak? What do you do when they're running and they're trying to figure out a plan? You strike relentlessly. You don't stop. So that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, sorry, I get really hyped up. I'm like so hot, I'm gonna overheat.
No, it's good to see that you're.
You're passionate about it, but it takes it. I think we've had a couple shows about this, and there was one night where we were like, "This is it. We can't do it anymore."
Well, because when we left, here's the deal: is like when the podcast's over, and I walked out to my truck. I'm outside, and that's what makes me feel like it's like some supernatural thing, because I was outside and I felt
think
like
it is supernatural though.
It is
watching me from the street. You know, there's no one out there, but where Mike's house is, like if I look down the street, I was like, dude, someone's watching me, or almost feel like someone's telling me like, you shouldn't be talking about that, or you shouldn't be doing nothing with that.
I get the bad. I get it.
You know what I mean? So.
But you know, your fear will feed that. And, you know, maybe I'm crazy. I don't think that I am. A lot of people that know me, you know, my husband knows I'm not crazy. Some of us are more equipped to deal with this than others. And I'm not saying that you're not equipped. I feel that you actually are equipped to deal with it. But this is spiritual warfare. This absolutely is supernatural. These people, these creatures that do this, that are responsible for this, they dabble in supernatural powers and entities. They summon darkness. They live in the darkness. And so when we are looking at this head on, we are looking into the abyss. We are dealing with demonic. We are dealing with the ultimate evil, the original evil of this planet. As long as we cannot keep our children safe, we have no future. If we can't defend them, and if we can't stop this, we have no hope. And that's why this is my big thing. You know, like seriously, like with all of these organizations about, you know, identity politics, and everybody wants to me, I'm crying, my feelings, none of it matters. None of it matters, because they're taking all of our kids, whether they're gay, straight, black, white, green, yellow, it doesn't matter. So that's why everybody needs to pull it together, and everybody needs to work really hard for the kids, because that's what it comes down to. We can't protect our kids. You know what I mean? It blows my mind that people are more concerned about whatever the hell it is. Like, it just, you know, people are like, you need to get a life. I'm like, this is my life. You know what I mean? I put so much energy into this. You know, I put my face out there. I risk a lot to talk about this stuff. And you're right. people get killed for this, you know, and I'm not saying like you or me or any of us, but, you know, people that attack this on a legal level get their throats cut. They get suicided with 2 shots to the back of the head. So this is their Achilles heel. This is their hot button. They don't want you to know.
So, okay, so that's the question. So for people that are thinkers, right? They're going to ask this question, and this is probably going to be the hardest question to ask or to answer, and that's, what is the end game? What is their end game? What's the goal? Like, what? Okay, is it you know, harvesting? Because it's all harvesting. I mean, they obviously don't view these children as beings that are worthy, right? It's just like you said. It's like cheeseburgers, right, or whatever it is. And so they don't have an issue with it. They obviously don't. It's nothing. There's no emotional attachment. It's just probably like if back in the day, whenever there's it's a party and everybody's scoring their drugs or whatever, and it's like that for them, right? Like they're like, oh yeah, we're excited. So what is the end goal here? I mean, if it's the ultimate evil, what's the end goal, and like why is it? Go ahead.
Right. Well, I think really fundamentally what this comes down to is power. And I think that, you know, try to put yourself into the psychology, as hard as it is. You have to, in order to defeat your enemy, you have to understand your enemy. So I do spend some time trying to put myself in the shoes of these people, and I do my best, although it's near impossible, because I actually have empathy and compassion to a fault. You know, I think to myself, this really ultimately is about power, dominance, and immortality, honestly. And, you know, you ask about the end game, and that's actually a nice segue that I actually wanted to get your thoughts on a couple things that kind of ties into a post that I made yesterday or the day before. But if you look around and you see all of these pushes for identity politics, you know, to the forefront of the collective, we're talking about normalizing such an inversion of sexuality, such a loose, fluid concept of sex and sexuality and gender. I feel that we are on a fast track to normalizing people that are going to start identifying as whatever age they feel. I saw a YouTube video the other day. I'm not sure if it was satire or not. Either way, it's entirely possible, and I'm positive that it goes on. A man in his 50s had a wife and children, left them to go live his life as a 6-year-old little girl. And he found a couple that was stupid enough to allow him to interact with their child, with their daughter. My mind, I'm like, this guy is a psychopath pedophile that is now using this current agenda, and that's exactly what it fucking is. Don't be disillusioned for 1 second. It's agenda. It has nothing to do with people's rights. Has everything to do with normalizing fuckery so that these monsters have easier access to our children, and that nobody blinks an eye anymore because everybody's afraid to say something against, you know, the person that identifies as an Apache helicopter. Like, I have no patience. I have no sympathy for people that are not looking at what's actually happening. And all these SJWs, you know, the social justice warrior culture, everybody has rights. Everybody does have rights, including children, and including me. I have a right not to accept your identity politics as my reality. You know what I mean? Aren't we all entitled to that? Why do we have to, you know, in New York City, if an employer misnames or mislabels an employee, they're charged $250,000 in fines because identity politics is our new reality, you guys. Why? Because they want to normalize this inversion of gender, of sexuality, of age. Anything goes culture, anything goes. And that's corrosive. You know what I mean? I'm not the most traditional person in the world. I happen to love my role as a wife and a mother, and as a woman. I enjoy it. You know what I mean? And I'm all for people that have masculine energy, feminine energy, all of it. I really don't care what people do. What consenting adults do is none of my business. But stop shoving it down our throats, because we see what you're doing. I mean, some of us see what they're doing. Too many people don't and don't care.
Well,
and even more people are like, yeah, that's great. I want to be a 12-year-old boy. It's cuckoo.
What kills me is anytime. Okay, so someone says that they want to be a 6-year-old girl. I identify as a 6-year-old girl. I'm going to go live with this family and do this.
Okay.
And, like, in my head, I'm like, the same thing. Like, you're fucked up. You're crazy.
You're fucked up. You're crazy.
I don't care what you do. But do not try to tell me that I can't say that you're crazy.
Yes.
Because that's my opinion. And the world, I don't know if it's the world or America or what, and it kind of like your post was saying the other day, like, everyone's trying to quell any sort of opinion that goes against this mainstream agenda that's being pushed out, right? Like, like if you say you're against, I don't think that you're mentally sound if you think you want to dress up like a woman and you're a man, right? It just doesn't go with it, right? To say that it's not something miswired or different, like you're different than you because you identify as a man and you're a man, right? Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I don't think it's normal. I don't.
I'm just saying it's crazy.
Well,
right.
So for me to say that somehow becomes, well, you're just racist.
Here's the thing.
You homophobic, whatever.
You're not accepting of this. Like, I'm accepting. Have at it. Just don't force me to do it.
Don't use the government to force me to do anything, right? Like, that's it. Like, because that's what's happening. Because like what Jenny just said is, like, in New York City, you're being penalized $250,000 if you mislabel an employee. Well, that's government force jamming it down your neck. I don't care if I have a friend that dresses like a weirdo, not a weirdo, dresses like a woman and wants you to call her a woman. Okay, but if I don't really want to call you a woman that day, don't force me to make you to call you. Like, okay,
Bruce, or not Bruce. We know Bruce.
Kaylin. I mean,
can't think of a fake name. Alejandro, man. Can you not wear a dress today? Can you just wear jeans? My grandpa's coming over. You know what I mean? Or whatever. But
I get it, but you're right. It is all about force.
The thing is, too, though, is and I think it's the internet, or I don't know if it's
the internet,
generational, or if it's the internet or what. But like, you cannot have an opinion on anything now because it's not, well, you can't say that. Like, there's a big thing right now, with the thing that's going on in Charlotte. All these, I see on the internet.
I don't think you got to worry about other people's, like the social justice warriors,
but
trying to down your opinion.
But just wait. Them. So, a lot of I got tagged on something on Facebook, and I admit I signed in to see what it was, right? And there's the middle of this huge argument. And this
flame war.
This girl that I had known that previously was questioning when I was on Facebook. My posts about gun ownership and all this, right? Saying you'll never need that. There's no time that the government will come tyrannical. Is now calling for an armed resistance to go to Charlotte to support. I was like, whoa.
To support whom?
The Antifa protesters and all this.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I was just trying to, put into context.
Yeah.
So, what we're talking about here.
So
not that one side is any better than the other, but we have accounts of people that were there that say that Antifa and BLM struck first. So.
Well, see, and that's my thing, right? Like, I was talking to someone about this the other day. There's two groups of people there, and whatever you think about the president, I think he was trying to say the same thing. Like, he said, there's many people at fault, and everyone's like, no, it's the white nationalists, right? But here's my thing, right? If you don't agree with the white nationalists, don't fucking agree with them.
Right.
If they want to be racist or whatever,
right,
they're racist. That is their fucking opinion. They still have that right to be racist.
Dude,
but there's this
speaking
post.
To the choir,
there's
homie.
This post.
It's gonna get streetlights in here, man. I'm telling you.
There's an article in the Huffington Post that was talking about. There's a Twitter account set up to name all these people that were spotted at the Charlottesville march, right? And they're going through and they're finding these people and they're contacting their employers and everything and saying, hey, you got a Nazi working for you, this and that. Like, okay, that's fine. One of them was Del Taco or some taco stand, and it said they made a public post that said so-and-so doesn't work anymore. Del Taco or whatever the fuck it was, doesn't associate with white nationalists or whatever. We believe in individual rights and individual liberty. So we fired this guy.
So we fired him for having
wow, love it. I love it. Hypocrisy at its finest, right?
So if he wants to go march for something he believes in, that's his fucking choice, his decision in life. We're going to fire you. But we believe in individual rights. Right. But that's what pisses me off the most is like, and it's all in the news now. Like, we got to silence this. It should be, you know, these people are monsters. Okay, maybe they are, right? But
yeah, I get it. I get it. I get.
You know what it is, though. First of all, it's Orwellian. This is the censorship, and you know, if you Googled some of these terms, you know, white nationalist, it's immediately, you know, it's the supremacy. Right now, we're talking about. They're trying to equate white with the supremacy. So if you don't stand against the supremacy, or you don't vocalize it, or you don't apologize for being white, and you don't own up to your white privilege, you're with them. Now, this is all very contrived. This is all by design. This is psychological warfare. Just point blank, this is psychological warfare. This is a war on the psyche, a war on the collective. They are making people choose. Now, nobody has to choose. A white person does not have to align with just white people. Like, what is this? Like, a Nazi is a Nazi. That's old. Like, it's just, you know, the Nazi makes the perfect new super predator. And that's exactly what they're doing, is they're trying to construct this very typical problem, reaction, solution scenario. They've done it timeless, you know, time and again. They're really efficient at doing this. And this is gaslighting. And this kind of segues into what I was talking about before with the war on the white man. And listen, I'm not saying that white men have it so bad and anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you guys are suppressed. You can't, you know, it's not like that. You know, but there is a war on masculinity. And so, it just kind of all ties in for me, because now, you know, it's not okay to have any pride in being white. It's just not okay. And I'm not particularly proud of being white. I really don't care. I don't think about it all that much. As a matter of fact, I'm not even completely white. My mom's half Latina and my dad's a Jew. So, I mean, the KKK wants to cut my throat just like you know, it doesn't matter. I don't matter to them. But the point here is that the elite has created a scenario in which people feel forced and pressured into taking sides. And now that is a trap. You know, people, and it really is as cliche as it sounds, people need to come together and look past the psychology, the psychological warfare, and, you know, take some responsibility and just come together. And, you know, race really does not matter. It really, really doesn't. They want us to worry about it so bad.
You know what it
because
sounds
they
like?
want us clashing.
You know what it sounds like, right? As you guys were both laying this out, right? This is exactly what happens when you go to prison, right? You have to join your gang. Yeah. And then it's all about gangs against each other, right? So it's not just your team, right? So now you got your teams, which are your left and your right, right? So you got your teams, but now you got your gangs. So now it's just as much of you know, now you're gonna buy your gang's propaganda just like you buy your team's propaganda, and you're gonna cheer because the more that you divide it, the more that you get the lines drawn in the sand, the easier it is to control. It's so much because it's called compartmentalization. Just going to put you in your little box, slide you over here with your group, and then, okay, we got these guys in this group, we got these guys in this group. Dude, I'm screwed.
Yeah, me too, because
I guess
start paying for stuff and cigarettes and smoking. But see,
you have to start smoking. That's part of it.
That's the whole thing about, you know, if someone feels that strongly about Antifa, which I feel is like a fake front anyways, like,
of course it is.
Like, have your little shenanigans, your little party, the ridiculousness. I think it's just as ridiculous as the open carry stuff that the right-wing guys do, right? It's just, nothing's going to happen. I mean, yeah, someone got hit by a car and get killed at this last one.
Can we show that?
What?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Did we just demonetize ourselves by showing our...
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, anyway, but, you know, like, it's not... I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's not like this... Like I got this Antifa video somewhere, and it had these dudes marching, and they all had rifles and bandanas and shit. You know,
oh, right. I remember that.
Like
this was a while ago.
Yeah, like you're gonna go to war. You know, like dude, you guys are all banking on nothing happening. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're all just, you know, like
right.
not shit gonna happen here today. You know. But I mean, and it's horrible. This girl got killed or hit by a car, right? I mean, it's bad. But
yes,
I just don't feel like, you know, like Jenny's saying, like I've got, if someone's like, we got to go to Charlotte and pick a side, like I'm gonna go see what kind of seafood they have there, and get a beer and then fucking leave. I'm not
joining a side.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
We've got
one other thing that you touched on.
Mm-hmm.
Is the war on masculinity, and I completely agree with that because of the stuff that I see just in existence. It drives me crazy. Is like this frowning upon of like any sort of violence or aggression or manliness or masculinity. Yes. And I feel like that, and we've talked about this in the past on the podcast, I feel like that's done by design to try to continue to like feminize the culture to where it's an easy overtaking, you know, and I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if it's me being crazy, you know, but I mean, if you just take a look at public or anything, like no one takes pride in the way they carry themselves. And I'm not just saying about, you know, being fit or whatever, but like there's no, like if you look at pictures from past, and Kaylin's gonna be like, "Oh, you're being nostalgic" or whatever. You know, like being able to fix your own shit, or you know, like, hey, I'm gonna build my own house, or you know, I can do this, or I can
being self-sustaining.
Yes, and
dude, we're getting the street lights, homeboy.
Standing up for, you know, yourself or your wife or your kids. You know, now it's all like, oh, you don't need to use, you know, there's no violence. Don't.
Right,
you know,
right. Lower your voice.
Yeah, if someone punches your kid on the playground, bring it to the teacher's attention. Let them
right.
No, I'm gonna tell my kid to punch the fucking person in the nose. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's driving me crazy because I feel like it's everywhere, and it's on TV.
It's been everywhere though. That's been everywhere for a long time.
Yeah,
like you think about it, when you're a little kid, you were told the same thing by, you know, you got to go. You need to tell the teacher. That's what and then.
I wasn't.
Well, I'm not saying by your parents. I'm saying in the school, like you tell the teacher. But if you think about it, I mean, teachers should probably say, look, if somebody punches you in the face, you tell them to stop punching you in the face. If they punch you again in the face, then you take it to you give them 100% more.
Punching me in the face. I'm not telling them to stop.
I'm saying is
stop punching me.
Not you don't. I think you're missing my point. Is what I'm saying is like back away. And say, look, this is what's going to happen to you. I'm gonna devastate you if you continue, and then you devastate them.
You make love to them.
That's
devastation.
That's you can do that too. That's weird violence, I guess.
But it's evident.
That's in prison.
It's evident on TV, and like we've said in the past, you know, like the male, you know, star of any kind of TV shows like this. Idiot, you know, go to mom for the answers. You know, she's got all the answers, and you can't even figure out how to get to work on time. You know,
even in kids shows all over the place, right? The like male
Homer
is an
Simpson,
idiot,
right? I mean,
it is, and it's. I think that's by design, though. That's all by design, right? You've got to. How do you? It goes all back to how do you control a population? Well, let's look at the population. Let's try to study it. Let's understand how it works. Okay, we have a female species that does what? What do? They provide care. They provide a lot of emotional support. They're very in tune with that side of themselves,
Succulent.
Right? But they voluptuous and they provide us with milk and whatnot, right? No, okay. So, you just turned completely red. Now you're like,
Me?
Yeah, you're. Oh wait, no, you've already read. Never mind.
I've been read this whole.
Milk.
I'm just kidding. No, so all the stuff, right? And what does the man do? What is it? Let's go to the primitive nature of what we do, right?
Yeah.
Just look at our physical build, right? That's what we're meant to do. We're meant to protect. We're meant to do these things. Not to say that women can't do that. I'm not trying to say that. When it all comes down to it, but men do it more efficiently. That's what we're built for, right?
Yes.
And so what do you have to do if you want to control that? Well, just look exactly what lions do, right? Lions, they kill the other male lion. They don't kill the women, right?
Yeah,
and so how do we
protects the males? Like the pride runs it, and the male lion, he has his pride.
Right, and so if you want to control that pride, you have to take him out.
Yeah.
So it's exactly it, and that's how they control us. It's a long, drawn out process, but if you can turn a man into a woman,
we're getting there.
Right? If you can turn a man, look, the Kardashians are doing a great job of this. They're turning men into women. They're making them crazy.
Great asses.
They've all turned. So you're under their spell.
I am.
No, making them crazy, turning them into crack addicts, making them lunatics, right? So and then one has been completely turned into a woman. Well, whatever. Our most prime, or one of the greatest Olympians of all time, into a woman.
And it's coffee table talk.
Totally. No, it's all good.
Yeah. Someone said in the comments, didn't I see this chick in relation to Pizzagate? And yes, the answer is yes. So.
Oh shit! I forgot to check.
We haven't been checking our comments.
No, I it's been up the whole time, but there really aren't that many, so it's like really easy to see. But
what are you trying to say there, Jenny? That we're small time?
No.
I see. Oh, I'm kidding.
But I only recently got kind of comfortable with the live chat feature on YouTube when Heidi and I do our live our shows also. But I wanted to go back just a second because you're totally right with everything. And, I can't, as a woman, I can't understand exactly how it feels to look around and see this happening to your society, the male society. But I have a very masculine husband. He was active duty for 8 years. So I'm very comfortable with very masculine culture. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't bother me. I think that it's healthy. We need the balance. We need the men to be men, and we need the women to be women. I'm not saying that we can't have, both. Like, people have both masculine and feminine. There are amazing women that they're just as efficient as men, and vice versa at what women are good at. So this isn't to say that everybody has to be, one thing or anything like that. But there is this fluidity, this kind of dysphoria that's being pushed on people. And I think that the end goal really is to weaken the structure, weaken the family unit, which I believe the most powerful weapon that we have against the cabal, the elite, the NWO, whatever you want to call them. I think that the most powerful weapon that we have against them is the family unit. And that's not to say it's man, woman, and child. It could be, two women that love each other that have a child and two men that love each other that have a child. This isn't to say that, gays are bad or trans people are bad or that that's inherently bad. But what they're doing is they're pushing the boundaries and they're blurring the lines so intensely. It's that inversion, this concept of inversion. If you weaken the male, it's this third wave feminism is probably one of the most toxic movements to be introduced into society forever. I mean, the men are emasculinated constantly, and you're right. Typical male behavior is discouraged from a young age. It's natural for little boys to pick up sticks and use them as weapons because inherently they have this cell memory that they've retained of being the protector, being the warrior. That's what boys do. And by taking that away or punishing them for that or shaming them for that or directing them in a more feminine character, that will ultimately have a really negative effect on our society. We need strong men. Without strong men, we will fall. And I really believe that. Alpha males have answered the call for war forever. That, you know what I mean? Forever. That's just how it's been. There's trouble and the males leave. The alphas are going to leave. And what are they going to leave the women and children with? And I'm not saying that women need men around to take care of things. We know that that's not true. But I'm saying large scale. Let's look at psyche, collective psyche. It's unhealthy. It's dangerous. It's a very dangerous road that we're headed down, where men are scared to be men. I mean, I love the word cuck. I was introduced to the word cuck just a few short months ago, and it's absolutely my favorite word. Everybody I don't like is a cuck. I say cuck like 20,000 times a day. I love it. It's a beautiful word. And a cuck is like everybody that's a bitch, pansy.
So what exactly is
yeah,
a
cuck? because what I understand.
I thought that was a porno.
I know. I don't
right?
care what the actual definition of a cuck is. I like the way it's used now.
This rolls off the tongue.
I love the way it sounds. I just think it's great. You're a cuck. I love it.
Well, it's so close to the word fuck.
Right.
The point across.
Now I have my brain. I have to know what the actual definition is. It's all right. You guys continue to talk while I Google. Yeah.
Make sure you Google image search.
I'm gonna Google Pornhub.
No.
I'm just kidding. Cuckoo.
So.
Oh.
Right.
So other than Pizzagate and cucks, what other?
It's just a fun word. It's just, I love bad words. I love profanity. I just swear like a sailor. And so I discovered that word, and I was just like, God, everybody's a cuck, pussy ass bitch, motherfucker. I love it. Like, it just empowers me. I feel wonderful. Oh, this is bad. I can't believe I just said all those bad words. This is supposed to be super professional too.
Oh.
It is?
Well, I mean,
what show have you ever watched?
We've been doing this for 30 years. And it's
we're the number one podcast for 33 years.
To like keep it really, but nah. I just,
Well, see, there was a point in time we were at the gym and we were watching. It was ESPN's on the TV, and I don't give a shit about sports. Mike follows football, but not a big sports guy. We're watching this panel of dudes, and they're all.
Am I here at this point? Okay. All right.
Watching this panel of guys on ESPN, and they're all talking about sports, and they're all their face is just intense, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about a fucking ball game, right?
Oh, right.
And I said, we should do a podcast where we're totally serious the entire time. Like you got that constipated look, like, well, Mike, Jim, he's working on his football game, and his shirts are tight again. So, I really think he's got it this season. He's gonna bring it back around. But but we got to talk about our stuff. I couldn't do it for that long. So if you're trying to maintain professionalism on our podcast,
I'm gonna be serious right now.
That's okay.
So cuck.
Just with you guys. I'll just just with you guys.
All right.
All right. So we're about to be serious.
Okay.
Cuck.
Get your serious face.
I'm trying.
Like you're joking around. That's not as serious as ESPN.
I don't know if I have a serious face. Am that serious?
No, just read it.
All right. Cuck is a man who's a little bitch, contrary to beliefs.
Let's just leave it at that. I mean, a cuck is a guy, in my opinion. I really don't care about the real definition. A cuck is a guy that can't stand up for himself, that doesn't wish to stand up for himself. It doesn't. Are you guys laughing?
No.
Okay, so we're laughing about something that happened like 8 seconds ago. Okay, I see. All right.
We're laughing now.
I was laughing at my own joke there.
He's laughing at me. No, you're right. That's exactly it. Let me use it in a sentence. Her cuck boyfriend watched as a man flirted and felt up his girl in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so she cheated on him.
And so imagine, let's talk about the cuck as a new breed, not that new, but like this new generation of men that don't have any pride in their masculinity. They allow all kinds of things to go on. They're not standing up for themselves. When you take away the voice of the male, when you take away that archetype, or you skew it and you weaken it, you water it down, you're taking away such an essential part of the balance here. We need them. We need you guys to get to get angry. If we miss out on that righteous anger, that warrior spirit and that's really essentially for me, like what I'm worried about is that, we look at history, not to say that there were not fine women warriors, there absolutely were.
Xena,
warrior princess. But we need the warrior spirit. We need the sacred masculine or the divine masculine, whatever you want to call it. We need that now more than ever because we're about to face down an enemy that will require of us to be our most balanced, powerful selves. We can't do that without the alpha. We can't do that without the warrior spirit. And I think that that's essentially what they're trying to do, is they're just trying to make cucks out of everybody so that when the shit hits the fan, none of these men are willing to stand and fight. They're going to fall. And it really does, for me, come down to that. Also, a cuck that can't defend his children, it just kind of goes along with everything. Sure, dress him in girls' clothes, that's fine. But, where is the balance there? And really, that's all that it is I think that these people are just trying to flip everything upside down on top of its head so that up is down and down is up and all the lines are blurred and anything goes. It's very satanic, Luciferian, whatever you want to call it. It's a dark road, though.
All I hear is you want to turn back the time of all the progressiveness that America's made in the past 8 years.
Is that what you hear?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, identity politics did start about 8 years ago with the introduction of the Obama administration. So I guess, and I think behind every progressive is a socialist or a communist or whatever. I don't subscribe to the progressive thing at all because I think progressive is just a nice word for cuckery.
That's Orwellian. So the way that progressive is used, because it's not progression at all.
No, it's not.
It's actually, like you said, it's topsy-turvy world.
See, I've got to a point now where I feel bad because I don't care so much about. It's not on a personal level though. Like on the national level, like there, people say, "Well, what about this?" Like, man, I don't give a shit about that, and I don't.
That's progression, though. What you've done is you've pulled yourself out of that game. Well, though.
Yeah, but right? Sometimes it makes me feel bad because I'm like, man, I should really care more about this, but I don't. But if someone said, hey, I want your daughter to attend this something I don't agree with or whatever, right, I'm not going to be
gay
like
Christmas parade
just to appease the masses and be like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll do that. That's fine. She needs that. I'll be like, fuck, no, she's not going to that.
Right.
Go fuck yourself.
But that's good though, right? Like, I mean, I think it's good because that means that you're seeing the actual wrestling match that's happening in front of you, and you're like, oh, I'm not part of this anymore. And you know what? Or at least I say that I've kind of had a little bit of over the last couple weeks, I've been. Especially in this last class that I was teaching, like the idea was, and it had to deal. I'm not gonna talk about economics, right? I'm not gonna get there
right now or in your class.
I can't in my class. That's what I teach. But when I teach it, like I try to teach it as it's free market, right?
Yeah.
And what I do is I try to take them out of what the actual game that's being existed, right? The game that exists, which is not, everybody says, oh, it's capitalism, it's this, it's that. And if I can take them out of it and say, okay, this is not, what are you doing? Are you getting
burning up in here?
All right, open that window. I've lost my train of thought. Anyways, you've pulled yourself out of the game, and it's happened over the last what? How long is this? We've been doing this. And it's become less and less like, I don't even care anymore, right?
Yeah.
How long?
I don't know.
2 years, 3 years?
But I take that as a different than on a personal level.
Yeah, I mean, no, on a personal level, it's totally different. Because that's what you can affect. But that's what you can affect. So you can affect that change because it's on a personal level. You can't affect... You have zero power when it comes to this because it's not even in your hands. It's not in any of their hands. It's all a big play that's being played out, in my opinion. And And the way that you can change it is like these independent researchers and stuff like that, like George Webb, like Jenny, like all these people out there that are putting it out and saying, oh, okay, look, we don't have the power that the government has, the monopoly of force has to be able to shove stuff down your throat and make you like it, or make you, think you like, make us think you like it. We have the ability to try to at least uncover some of the truth, or make you think, and that's isn't that what we do in a way?
Kind of. Yes.
Okay. All right. Enough of my rant.
No, it was good.
Well, thanks.
I liked it too.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, guys.
Are you guys in the same room?
Yes. He's right across from me.
Mike just fucks up my camera and turns me red.
Okay, so
he
here's the deal.
My rifle once for a race like 2 years before I ran it, just so I'd lose. So he did that to my camera here.
I'm the artist sabotaging him. No, he's right across from me. But here's the deal: is that his camera is an expensive camera that I tried to put because he's so handsome.
It's hot as hell, man. It feels like it's gonna burn my fingers when I put it on.
It doesn't. Red. It doesn't work because I have it running off a laptop. I really don't know what I'm doing with any of this video stuff. So that's kind of how we operate.
Magic Micah said, "You're so red, you're white."
You're so red, you're white. Oh my goodness. Someone is saying that they are in Charlottesville. Really? Were you present at the protests? This person?
Isn't that Buddha Bubba?
Buddha Bubba.
Really? Seriously, guys. Oh, they could call in from Seagull.
I mean, I just take that really seriously because as of right now, all we have are mainstream media reports. So we're talking about, Mockingbird. We're talking about the CIA telling us what fucking happened.
Right.
And then we have, the accounts of people that were actually there, cell phone footage, whatever you want to call it. And it's really compelling stuff. This will continue to come in. We're going to continue to illustrate the picture of what happened. What's nope, Buddha Bubba? What'd you say nope for?
He wasn't at the protest.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, then whatever then.
We like you.
I saw the day there was some drone footage released, right? And I watched it. It didn't look like it was drone footage. It looked like a bank camera or something in the street.
Just a stable drone.
It wasn't a drone. I don't know. Maybe it was, but to me, think about it right now. So,
all right,
everyone's got a damn phone with a camera on it,
right?
And you're only seeing these certain videos, right?
Right.
I mean, and I don't know enough about what happened in Charlotte to even comment on it, other than the like main points. But like you would figure there'd be more stuff being posted places and everything, But I don't know. I do feel like there's a program being done to like put everyone against everyone. I mean, it's just,
of course there is. I mean, come on, a country divided is a people conquered. They've been doing this since before the Roman Empire. This is psychology 101. One of the many advantages that these people have over us is that they know our psychology like the back of their hand. We are literally on a mass scale being triggered. We have actually undergone all kinds of conditioning and programming for the past, I want to say even 35, 40 years, if not longer. And what they have done is they've used the very powerful manifestation ability of human beings to create a timeline, a reality, a society that exactly how they wanted it to. So they've programmed us, they traumatize us over and over again on a mass level. I'm talking about, all the wars, 9/11. This is mass trauma. This is trauma on the collective psyche. So it really is this kind of abuser, abusee relationship where we're like their little children that they've conditioned, programmed, traumatized, and now things like Charlottesville happen and everybody's triggered, and they can literally activate us the way that they would activate a victim of MK Ultra or a Manchurian Candidate on a mass scale. And that's what we're seeing is mass brainwashing taking place. our challenge is to see past that, to see through that, and to share about it and talk about it. That's really all we can do. We can't bear arms right now. It is true that the American population is the most heavily armed militia, you could even call us, in the world. The American people have more guns than many armies. So they're not going to come door to door and take our weapons and round us up. That's not going to happen. They have weapons that would wipe us all out. Well, like I said, we'll never be able to meet them in the field. They have to attack and destroy the psyche first. This is how they control us. This is how they dilute us, they water us down, they drug us, they make our kids crazy, all the pharmaceuticals. This is a very long time in the making. Where we're going, all we can do is speculate right now and be prepared for what may be to come.
I agree with this. I agree with everything that you said. And
Thanks.
I think that we've done a pretty good job of documenting on this podcast as well. And Jenny,
you're right. We're right.
It's a win-win. Win-win. No, this has been a great podcast, great show.
Can you have me on to debate somebody?
Yeah, who do you want to debate?
You want to debate me?
On what?
I don't know.
I don't even care. I just want to fight with somebody.
We can have you on to debate.
Who
We should.
Who do we have?
We're gonna get a
pick my opponent. I really don't care.
We
I
had
really
Christy
just want to
Swanson on
argue with
before.
someone. I'm a really good debater.
Yeah,
I love to talk shit. I love to argue.
Would you debate Christy Swanson? We had her on in the past.
I don't know if she would debate though.
We can ask her. That'd be like our Mayweather versus McGregor. Christy Swanson.
Well, here's the thing: is I find it really, counterproductive to debate with somebody that I actually agree on everything with, so it would probably turn into more of a discussion. I don't know who this woman is. I don't know her stance. I don't know anything.
Come on now.
Give
This
me
is
somebody
this
who's
our
like really
B-level
obnoxious.
celebrities.
Christy Swanson was in Happy Gilmore. She
wasn't in Happy Gilmore.
No, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
She was in Big Daddy.
Get out! Oh my God, a celebrity that I can tear apart? Really?
No, she wouldn't debate you.
I don't know if she would.
What are you guys going to debate? Because she has golf clothes for sale.
Oh God! Right.
No, she's great. I mean,
we
just
gotta get her back on again.
How would you debate her?
So we'll set you up with a debate.
How? Who do you know we're going to debate?
Dude, tell me.
All right,
so
here you go.
You can
Jenny, I want you to do this. I want her to issue the debate.
You can
say I want to debate anybody.
You can go out and pick any as long as they'll agree to be on TV. If you get someone that's out there, I mean, it's not hard to find anyone with opinion that aligns with the mainstream program. You know?
Right. Like, I would feel really bad coming on here and just debating for the sake of debating somebody whose stances are, solid and they're well researched. I have no interest in just conflict with people. I think ideally what I'm talking about is like some douche who thinks he knows everything and I just want to like rip him apart, but it might be wishful thinking, you guys.
Well,
don't work yourselves. Don't put too much thought into it. If I think of the right person,
okay,
I'll let you know.
All right.
We'll get someone and Well,
now I want to debate.
What do you want to debate on? I'll slay you.
The debate economics.
Oh, I'll lose. I don't know anything about economics.
Done. Debate over. I won.
Okay. I surrender.
No, we'll find some. This is going to be good. This will be fun.
Find somebody that thinks that child trafficking is not an issue or not real. Can you get John Podesta on the show?
Yes.
We were going to get him on anyway.
Yeah. I
bet we could find somebody.
Pounding that man's skull into the pavement, and it's not normal for me to go straight to violence. That's not, but something about these people, George Soros, John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, all of them, they invoke such negativity and they just, you know
what it is, right?
Pow, right in the kisser.
You know what it is? It's like you're like Roddy Piper from They Live. You've got those glasses on. You can see them.
Yeah.
George Soros looks like a monster.
Yeah, well, I was reading something about that when I was reading. Whenever you had me look up the adrenochrome stuff,
Yeah.
And I was
so you guys prepared for this fucking interview before me.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what the adrenochrome was.
So that we could make him look bad.
Yeah.
Right. It's all a conspiracy against you.
This whole show is
fucking red. And I don't know what anyone's talking about.
It's all about trying to eliminate the alpha in you.
Right.
Which I'm removing that slowly, little bit at a time. No, I was reading about George Soros, and there's, dude, it has something to do with. It got sidetracked. No, it did have something to do with an eye, and they were talking about Madeleine McCann, and what is that? What's it called? What's that disease called? Or not a disease? It's just a.
No, it's a. Oh God, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I know it. It's a mutation.
Yeah, it's a mutation.
Mutation that manifests itself in an issue with the iris. It looks like it's bleeding through, and they did find a consistency with some of the kids. One of the children in Jimmy Comet, James Alefantis. They're the same person. James Alefantis Instagram. Back when Pizzagate first hit and everybody was digging through all those pictures, there was another child that had the same mutation.
Coloboma.
What's that?
Coloboma.
That's it. And so what that particular mutation is indicative of is a certain type of genetic composition, which is favorable and very desired, sought after by people like George Soros. And what it is they actually share blood. So in some way, it makes them related genetically in some way, whether distant or not that distant, it doesn't matter. But they do put emphasis, they assign more value to certain types of blood.
Right. So here's right. I'm covering your face up right now with you see Soros's eye?
It's a damn shame.
Right. I know it is, but
yeah.
I'm covering your face up with his face.
Oh, dude, I worked with the guy. I did a job for a guy that had eyes like that. I thought it was some fucking.
He's probably a reptile of some sort.
More than likely, he's extremely rich.
There you go. Oh, is it that?
Well, you can't talk
yeah.
about him.
Yeah.
That guy.
It is a dangerous topic. Magic, Micah. It is a very dangerous topic. People die for this. People have died for this. And it's the least that we can do is to perpetuate the research, perpetuate the surge of information coming out. If we stop, it will stop. Things will not progress on their own. This situation will not get better if left to natural progression. It just will not. There is a campaign, the likes of which nobody has ever seen, in effect to sweep this under the carpet. I mean, we're talking about war in order to keep this. It's a kill switch. Before they allow themselves to be turned over to the public for their crimes against children and crimes against humanity, they will kill all of us. They'll go out. That's just the nature of the enemy right now.
Sad. And it's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah, I'm sorry to totally bum you guys out and this always happens is people are like, oh no, she's real nice, she's real cool, and then we start to talking and it's all about the ugliest side of humanity. And that's something that I pride myself on that. Even in my readings, with my clients and stuff, there's nothing that a client can't tell me. There's nothing that I'm not equipped to handle. There really is nothing that frightens me about, I can't say it's not that it frightens me. Nothing shocks me. And so I think that that's why this is what I choose to do. I have the stomach for it. Sometimes it really gets to me. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I have to pull out of this. I mean, it's really heavy stuff, but somebody has to do it. I'm not going to wait and let that person do it or that person do it. No, I would lose sleep if I just put this to bed and was it's somebody else's problem. It's not. It's our fucking problem.
I agree. Why don't you do this? Why don't we change subjects? You want to stick around with us for the rest of the podcast? Can you do it or not?
No, I can. Sure.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what we're gonna do is, we go to different. We have different segments.
Okay.
And I think we have done an excellent job, and we can lighten it up a little.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Well,
We've done an excellent job up to this point. Yes.
Well, you know, I got to compliment myself. I'm confident. I'm a confident man here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into what we call the hot zone. So, Jenny, hang on. You might not hear us for a second.
I'm probably going to offend you here shortly.
Well, that's all right. Should be fine. You ready?
Yeah. Can she hear us now?
Not yet, I don't think. You ready?
I can hear you.
All right, hot zone.
You got these articles pulled up?
Not open.
Oh,
I never
man.
do. I just complain about my computer.
All right. So it says, this is one you put on there. It says, your smartphone reduces your brain power even if it's just sitting there.
Magic Micah commented and said, here come the Speedos. Yeah, dude. So, I mean, I feel like this article is from the Huffington Post.
I agree
right?
100% with this.
Like, I feel like my phone makes me dumb.
It does make you dumb.
It made me even more dumb when I was on Facebook.
And that one's making me mad.
Which
the vibration.
I'm talking to my brother at the same time. No, so that was talking about how your brain. Did you read you didn't read the article?
No.
Did you? So even if you set it next to you, your brain, knows it's there and is constantly wanting to check for notifications or texts or email or whatever, and it places that in the forefront of your mind so that you're not taking other things that should be at the forefront of your mind, like some dude's name that you just met or some girl's name that you just met or whatever, right? So that takes that precedence.
Right, it's giving you that
brain.
Stimulus.
But there's no doubt in my mind that fucking phone is making me dumber than I was because of all the stuff. Like, I try my hardest to, like, when you're talking about something, like, what was that? Like, oh, it was this, because you don't have to retain much information anymore. Everything's on your damn phone. But this talks to the actual science behind it of how, and they did a study. I'm not even reading it. I'm going by memory here, but they had people take a test, and they had allowed some people to bring their phone in face down, and the people that left their phone in the other room did better on the test than the people that had, because of the whole, this is a priority. Phone's taking a priority,
right? And
it's pretty pathetic that. I mean, we got some good group text,
but I think if you think about it, it's a constant. Our brain. Well, how does our brain work? Right? It wants constant stimulation, right? That's what we always want.
Well, okay.
Don't we want constant stimulation? So if we want constant stimulation, yeah, I think.
So think about this.
You want info. I want to know everything. Like, that's me. I want to know everything that I can possibly know.
But what information are you getting? Like today, when I was in line at Qdoba, I walk in there, I get in line, I pull my phone out, I look to see if I got any text messages, then I read the news on the local news.
I agree that it makes us stupid.
I look at this, nonsense, right? Like, whatever happened to that quiet time with yourself? Like, you used to eat lunch and just reflect on thoughts of, like, God, I fucking hate my job.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Or look at that idiot over there eating by himself.
But it is a perfect tool to make you stupid.
Well, it's also the perfect tool to take you out of a social interaction. If you're in a restaurant and you're just staring at your phone,
you're not saying, "Hey, how's it going?" Not noticing people.
Looking around, you don't interact. You're not in real life.
I agree. What do you think, Jenny?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me is that the natural energetic stasis, if you will, of the human body and the bioenergy emitted by a human being. We are not in any way naturally, the 5G networks, the Wi-Fi, none of these constructs are natural to our energy in any way. And so, my mind goes to how is it interacting with our brain waves, with our heart waves. The heart emits electromagnetic energy that is 500, this is fact, 500 times at least stronger than the electromagnetic energy emitted from the brain. So I just have to question, how are these networks, the Wi-Fi and these waves, how are they interacting with our bioenergy, with our electromagnetic energy? And I think that, since really these handheld devices are so new, there are no long-term studies to show us what the long-term effects of these devices and these networks that are so much a part of our daily lives, nightly lives. I mean, just up until a few months ago, I slept with the Wi-Fi tower just a few feet from my bed, and then I unplugged it, and I was like, wow, I feel so much better.
Really?
And, you know, just because we can't see it doesn't mean we're not being affected by it. Do I think that they're making us stupider? Well, you know, anything that we want, we have access to at the tips of our fingers. So, I mean, stupid, no, but kind of, you know, transhuman, possibly. Yeah, I think that this is kind of a stepping stone into a new virtual reality, if you will, that they're trying to merge human consciousness with a virtual reality. And I believe here soon, coming up in the next few years, actually, I believe that we will be sold such a convincing artificial experience, if you will, through all these new technologies. Oculus, for example, do amazing things. They're going to tempt us with this virtual reality that feels in many ways more real and better than physical reality. So I am really, you know, wary of all these things. My phone is always with me, so I'm kind of being a hypocrite. I love my phone.
We all are. You don't have to like, not say it. And you know, you just said something though. She just said something that selling us into this virtual reality. You know what's going to make that possible? Because it isn't possible yet. But you know what will make it possible? 5G, homie.
5G.
5G.
Yes, absolutely.
5G is a network going to destroy your brain.
Yeah.
You're done. All right. Great job. Let's move on. Oh, you have something?
No.
All right. See,
I do,
that's me. That was domination
right,
just there.
Yeah. So this next
Don't
article,
be a cuck. Spit it out.
Yeah, spit it out.
We've already talked about it in the past.
All right. Go ahead then.
All right. So this next article is from FoxNews.com. It says Atlantic police officer challenges gym owner to a fucking this fried up.
All right. So Atlanta police officer Tommy LaFever explained why he challenged Atlanta gym owner Jim Chambers, who banned cops from his facility to a boxing match.
Guy put a sign up that says, "Do whatever you want. No CrossFit, and no CrossFit, something else, and no fucking cops."
Okay.
He don't want military there either, right?
Okay. It's his fucking policy.
Yeah. So this cop comes out and says he wants to challenge him to a boxing match. And the interview with the lady says he is saying he's doing it to help the children.
The cop is?
Yeah, he said
doing it to help the children.
So he wants
the children.
It's for the kids.
For the kids.
They're gonna have this celebrity boxing match, and you know all I've got from it was some dude didn't want cops at his gym. That's his decision,
right?
And then, the police officer just wants to beat him up, right? I mean, that's really it. And it just bothers the shit out of me because you're like, dude, just fucking leave the guy alone. Go to there's 50 million gyms, right? If that's what he wants to do, but I mean, it's just like everything else we just talked about before. If that's his opinion, let him have his fucking opinion.
All right.
Like, do you think if that said, do whatever you want, no CrossFit, no mechanical engineers, there'd be a mechanical engineer like, you know what? Let's you and me, buddy, fucking celebrity boxing match. I'll show you. You know, we need to have mechanical engineers in this fucking gym.
Yeah. Like, we don't have enough of them here.
Why does everybody get so butthurt when it's
How do you think this stuff got made?
And I know there's people out there right now, well, mechanical engineers don't put their life on the line. Okay, so no roofers. No fucking roofers.
No roofers. Because we've documented on the show
roofers the number one dangerous job, right?
Yeah, we document that construction workers get killed more than cops do on the job.
No construction workers. So
but they're not putting their life on the line for you.
Why
I don't need anybody to put their life on the line for
all
me.
the hurt from that. If you don't want to have the military, and we were both in the military. Your husband was in the military. Do you give a shit if someone says that they can't have military in the gym? Like, go to another one.
I'll go to a different gym.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well done. I like that article.
I'm gonna make a gym and not allow mechanical engineers.
Didn't we just talk about this guy on the
DB Cooper? We opened up. So our podcast actually forms the universe. So we'll talk about something. And then the universe. I can see you. You're saying this guy's full of shit.
No, you right now, Jenny. You are in our universe, and so it's just how it works.
We talked about DB Cooper, and now all of a sudden there's new.
We just talked about DB Cooper
in the search presented
That's
the
how
FBI.
it goes, you guys. That's manifestation. That's how it works.
So it isn't spells. It's just us
just...
speaking it into the universe.
But anyway,
it's our universe.
That's what a spell is. That's spell. If you break down the word spelling, that's essentially what it is. Words, tones, frequency. These are language of the universe. So it is a spell.
You know who we should have her debate? But I don't know if he...
Donald Trump?
No, is Jordan Maxwell. Could you debate him?
I would never. Oh my God, no.
But no, you could. We've had him on a number of times.
Yeah, that's fine. I would never debate him ever. He's a grandfather of this. He's one of the people that I
know.
Love.
But have you heard him lately? Listen to the last podcast that I had him on.
Okay,
Listen
I will.
To the
but
last
I wouldn't debate. I would. That would be terrible. I would not sleep for a week.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well,
but thank you for that amazing opportunity. I'll never forget that I was off. That was on the table. I doubt he would.
He probably wouldn't.
No. Of course he wouldn't. He has far better things to do.
What are you saying? Then come on the Spearhead transmission?
No, and debate with me. I mean, he'd be like, who? Some dumb shit. I don't know.
All right,
we can skip the next two because we already talked about Charlottesville.
I thought we DB Cooper is
they found some more. They found a parachute strap and they turned it to the FBI. The FBI has the case is closed, but now they're talking about if they have evidence, then they'll reopen the case.
DB Cooper was Mr. Rogers.
Who says that?
I don't know the picture.
Oh.
A little.
So.
All right, what's next?
All right, so
we talked about Charlottesville.
Yeah, we're good with that. This is from the Examiner.com, WashingtonExaminer.com. I don't know if this is this fake news?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so candidate to be the first female Navy SEAL officer quits after a week.
Okay.
Why?
Thoughts?
Why did she quit?
Because it's hard as shit, probably.
A woman aiming to become the first female Navy SEAL officer quit about a week into the initial training. This is initial. This isn't even that. She didn't make it to BUD/S yet.
Oh, she didn't make it to BUD/S.
Okay. Then okay. So she didn't make the cut. That's. See, as my husband's not in the military anymore. But when you're in that world, and I've caught a lot of flack because I don't think that women belong in combat. I just don't, because for me, in my mind, I'm thinking, can a 135-pound woman carry my husband, who weighs 200 pounds, out of the line of fire? Or would I rather a man that is physically strong? And I'm not saying that there aren't women that are capable of that, but they're far and few between. So I say don't lower the standard. Keep the standard exactly the same, and if a woman can meet those standards, then okay. But there's no need to, push the boundaries. The psychology of a woman in combat, just having a woman present in the trenches affects the team. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Not only because of the physical nature of it, but because the study that we read was like that it that we talked about this before, but the study stated basically that seeing women being killed, completely, it shuts instead of like men seeing other men being killed, it's different. It's like, oh, okay, you got to drive on a mission strong.
Game over, right?
No,
but when it's a woman,
women dying, it's like, yeah, they start to want their money. So
like holy shit,
we're not supposed to be seeing this. This isn't supposed to be happening because go back to our primal state, right?
Right.
All right.
Okay, so the candidate who dropped out was enrolled in the Navy SEAL Officer Assessment and Selection Program. So she's an officer, and they go to this selection school, and if they pass that, then they go to BUD/S. So,
well, I imagine they probably made it next to impossible, and I figure that that's the sort of thing that happens all the time. They're not going to give, and this is purely speculation, but she was probably just made to leave. Like, you can make somebody's experience so unbearable that you just push them out.
Well, see, and you said earlier, like, keep the standards exactly the same, and that's fine, but I don't think that'll, just like the two girls that made it through Ranger School, you come out now, they said, that you see those pictures of people carrying their packs and shit, like.
Dude, my pack alone, as an infantryman, I mean, I weighed in one time in TC. I was 130 pounds heavier with my gear on. 130 pounds heavier with my gear on, and we would do movements at night that were 12 miles, 13 miles. It's up to 18 to 21 miles, right? Like
this podcast episode may get us on the Huffington Post finally.
Maybe it might
as a hate
podcast.
Oh, you see, and that's the problem.
Is that
just merely speaking your opinion, and it's a pretty normal, moderate opinion. Is now looked at. You're sexist. You're so sexist. How dare you?
All right.
About to do some fat shaming on this next.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, so this is from the Huffington Post UK. It says, "Fat but fifth is a myth."
Wait, I don't agree with that. Like there are big girls that are fit.
Yeah, there are.
There are some. I saw some today at the gym.
Still says that higher levels of fat in the body are still unhealthy.
Well, wait, how big are we talking here?
I don't know.
Like Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she's fit. That's not. I don't think that's fat.
No, she's large. Yeah, she's just broad.
It talks about body mass index and whether they were metabolically healthy or unhealthy, right? So it talks basically about how size affects the amount of fat that gets in your arteries or whatever, and it's all related to heart disease. So my big thing, since the Huffington Post is always talking about how, fat is fit.
Oh, right.
And people are walking around 350 pounds saying, I run marathons. I take 48 hours to complete one, but I'm a marathon runner, like
they got the sticker.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you just ran a marathon? Wow, it took me 2 days.
Yeah, so they're saying that, there's not any truth to that. Like that take-home message here is that maintaining a healthy body weight is a key to stepping toward maintaining a healthy heart because of coronary heart disease occurs when the coronary arteries become narrowed by a gradual buildup of fatty material, which coincides with the higher BMI, body mass index.
So, all right. So you know that girl at the gym that I told that squats 275?
The comic book character?
Yeah. She's healthy.
Yeah, but she probably have a higher risk of heart disease than someone that was thinner.
Because
it's just science. Right?
I see. I get what you're saying. What you're saying. Okay. All right. Okay.
But what cracks me up is that Jane Robert Smith comment says this is like saying all hippos are obese or that all elephants should look more like gazelles.
What the?
So that right there is the thing, right? This is pushing body standards on women to make it unrealistic body standards toward women.
Oh, right.
Okay, so if a hippo was like, I don't know how much a hippo weighs. I don't.
Hippos are giant.
Yeah.
They got to weigh at least 3,000 pounds.
So if there was a 10,000 pound hippo, you would say like, there's something wrong with that hippo, right?
He would get left behind by the pack and left to die.
Yeah, and it couldn't hunt, right? Because it's so fat.
What if he was on steroids?
He's so fat, he couldn't move around. He couldn't.
3,000 to 4,000 pounds. So 2,900 to 3,300 pounds for the female.
So a 10,000 pound hippo couldn't maintain hippo-ness.
No.
Just like an elephant. If an elephant was overly
enormous, it'd be one of those specials like we got to, like on it'd have you're trying to get the guy out of the house, the 600-pound guy out of the house. They'd have to be like, we've got to get the 10,000-pound hippo out of the Serengeti.
So I mean, it just goes in line with everything else. Like when you say, hey, this person's 400 pounds or whatever, and it's passed off as like, it's glandular or whatever. Like,
right, it's an acromegalic.
I don't see pictures of 400 pound people on a massive scale like we have in America. Pictures from, colonial America when shit wasn't just off the shelf, shoveling food into my face all day.
That was just kings and queens.
Yeah, so that if we're talking about hippos and it wouldn't survive if that's what you're relying on. Anyway,
I got it.
Everyone
I got you.
Knows
Everybody knows Nick hates fat people.
I was one of the best comments that anybody's ever left on any of my videos to date, I will never forget. It was the funniest shit I've ever heard. This guy says, this chick needs to lose the baby fat and become a stripper. And he said, see you in the VIP room, moon pussy. And I about died. I called my husband. I said, that is the fucking funniest shit I've ever heard. Like, I don't know why I'm even sharing that with you. I just thought it was hilarious. Yeah.
A good stage name. All right, guys.
I was fat shamed. It's relevant because I was fat shamed.
Put your hands together.
And
how are they fat shaming you?
I'm not even. Currently I am 13 pounds over my ideal body weight, but I'm working on it. Okay.
I'm working
on it. I skipped dinner and everything.
He just said we're not going to have you on the podcast again until it's done.
Yeah. Damn it. I better work it then. I actually have a boot camp in the morning, so work that fat ass.
That takes us to the Ode to Women.
All right. Well, you might not hear us for a second.
I'm so going to regret all of this.
Dude,
tomorrow.
You segued that perfect, Jenny.
Right, so
you have to listen to I'm going to send you the audio of this, and you need to listen. It's perfect. Go ahead.
So there's a bunch of stuff that apparently is, since we're shaming, everything's shameable. Like there's vagina shaming, right? And
there is?
Yeah, these articles. This isn't really an ode to women. I didn't know.
See, when I offered you to stick around, I didn't know what you were in store for. Nick put these in here. It's all right. You're tough.
I love this. I love it. Right. It's perfect. I love it.
The ode to women usually goes along the lines of
thank you for being a strong woman, right? Thank you for cooking.
Thank you for thigh-high socks.
Right. Thank you for wearing thigh-high socks, doing these things for us.
Well, this one, I was reading today, and I get to clicking on the side stuff, and there's all this shit that existed. I had no idea existed, right?
All right, what do we got?
The first one, I can't open and won't open, but it's vagina highlighter, like face highlighter.
Say again?
Makeup for your vagina, or your vulva, if we're talking...
scientifically.
Yeah, correctly.
Shades of V.
Shades of V. Yeah.
It's a luminizer.
Well, I just didn't. It's funny as it says. The article's like, we don't need to shame vaginas.
Who does that?
All it is someone thinks, hey, I can sell this and people will buy it. Sure enough, it says that the place is out of stock, right? And I got onto this because of. There's some Chinese...
You've been shamed?
No, there's some Chinese jewelry you can buy on Amazon that you put in your bikini in the crotch that hangs out the crotch like a set of golden nuts. Yeah, but it's jewels, right? And they say it's for your bikini area. I was like, who the fuck would want that? And then on the side it talks about this.
Well, I gotta look.
Vulva
highlighter. What am I looking for? Chinese jewelry, Chinese vagina jewelry?
Bikini jewelry or something.
Okay.
It's on Fox News.
All right.
Well, bikini jewelry, that's broad. You'll get all kinds of cool stuff if you look at bikini jewelry. Vagina jewelry.
Oh, no, I see it right away. It's called beachtail.com.
Yeah, beachtail.
Wow.
But
it is it's a set of nuts that hangs out.
Who feels the need to...
That's you know what that's doing?
Illuminize.
I'm telling you, it's because it's drawing my eye straight to it. Like now, that's all I'd be looking for is beach tails, and then I need it to be illuminized.
The highlighter,
and then you'll get in trouble for looking.
That's true. Yep, I will.
What are you looking at?
And then you're a misogynist. You're a chauvinist.
At those gold
you're
nuts
a pig.
that are hanging out of your bikini.
How dare you look at the golden balls that are hanging out of my vagina that I put there because I think that it's trendy and beautiful? How dare you?
So we got that. We have the
there are capsules.
Highlighter.
There are capsules. I actually posted about this. There are capsules of glitter that you can insert into the vagina, and it will mix with everything else, and you will excrete glitter.
Is this what was next?
That's the exact next
Get out!
article. Says having to post putting glitter in your vagina is the latest sex trend, and it needs to stop.
What is happening?
There's so many health concerns. There's so many bells and whistles that go off. Like, that is just so unhealthy. Like, glitter gets everywhere. There's no way to control.
Well, here's
where it's gonna be a disco ball in there.
Here's what I don't get: are there men walking around that are like,
I do.
Sex was all right last night, but I really wish there was some fucking glitter flying out of that thing.
Right? Like, oh man, I need more sparkles. There wasn't enough sparkle for my taste.
Yeah, like, I mean, really? I mean, someone...
No, dude.
Or was this just someone sitting around like, you want to see if we can sell this? Like, no way. Is it a bet? Like, I bet I can sell fucking packets of glitter that you put in your... No way. No way. There's no way you'll do it. And they're out, too. They're sold out. But the last one is the best one.
I'm blown away by this.
Have you talked about not putting wasp nests in your vagina? Because the last one says, and it probably fry your computer. Yeah, ground wasp nest is not recommended.
Muscles.
Yeah, not recommended for.
No.
For what? What's the purpose?
It says
this method can cause painful sex and increased risk of fucking wasps are coming out of here. What's going on? I've got bee stung.
Not actual wasp nest. That's what it's titled when you read it, but it's ground up wasp nest. It says
to tighten everything up.
Yeah, apparently it tightens muscles.
Wasp nests?
Yeah.
It's a at-home remedy for vaginal rejuvenation.
It blows my mind is people need an article to tell them, like, hey, that might be a bad idea.
It's got a mud dauber's nest down there. What's going on?
So there had to be someone walking around.
It doesn't speak to me in any way. It's just not. I don't know. There's a market for everything and anything, and people will do whatever they're going to do, and then until they're injured or something horrible happens, they probably won't learn. So.
Man, that sex last night was great, but I need more glitter and wasps.
Right.
Not enough wasps in the bed.
Not enough wasps. And did you have enough makeup on that or what?
Yeah.
No.
Ridiculous, man.
Like, doesn't it, like, get everywhere? Like, I just, the logistics alone are just mind-boggling.
Glitter in itself, it's like
my wife
honey.
would lose her mind if there was glitter all over in the bedroom.
Glitter is like, yeah. It's
she
like
would
honey.
lose her mind.
You get honey out, put on a biscuit in the morning, and you're like, how's there honey? How did it get on the back of my arm or whatever? You know what I mean? Like
just
that glitter would
hammering
be
away
everywhere.
And just dust flying everywhere. Jenny, you didn't know what you got into whenever this.
None of this is shocking to my sensibilities. I'm used to this.
You go and sit on your furniture.
You're issuing challenges now.
Yeah. Well, like I said, literally nothing shocks me or bothers me. I don't have delicate sensibilities whatsoever.
I would also be nervous if I came over to your house and got glitter on me somehow. Like, oh man, come on. Shit's on the couch.
TV,
got it on my face. It's just like when you go to a strip club, you leave, you got glitter on you.
Your wife's like, where you been? I was at Mike's house. Just watching movies on the couch. Damn it.
That's all I got.
I wanted to. Okay, so one last segment. Unless you have anything to add, if there's other weird stuff that we need to be concerned with. I'm talking to Jenny.
In terms of vaginal decorations and things like that.
Dude, we need to be aware. I don't need to be aware. I'm married, right? Happily married, so I'm not going to be out there, hooking up with women and having wasps, getting bee stung and shit.
Right. Some of the cooler trends that aren't totally like crazy is like I see you can buy crystal like sticky, like adhesive crystals, but they're real crystals, so they're natural, and you can embellish or whatever, decorate it. None of
Bedazzled.
That's but that's an external thing. That's not internal.
Okay.
That's not invasive, or there's no strange foreign objects being
Right, it's not the crystal caverns.
Right, the cavern.
I got it. Well, you can bedazzle your vagina. It's not
Disco stew.
Yeah.
I can't post this. I was going to share this video on my personal Facebook page, but it's not going to happen now.
Yeah. All right.
We've had that said those.
No, you can't post this one on our. You can post the audio.
I mean, what difference does it make? We're still talking about it.
You're going to have tons of fans. I promise. All right, so we're going to move into the next segment. You ready? It's the last thing we're going to talk about, and it's quick.
All right.
All right.
I'm kind of let down that this isn't going to be posted.
Yeah, we were hoping we were going to get a lot of fans from your...
steal them.
We were going to steal your fans.
All right, no, I'll post it.
Yes.
Just say, don't listen to this
if you have...
Right, I'll be like, everything's good right up until this mark. Just don't listen to any of that.
Whatever, you like this. This is fun.
I enjoy it.
All right,
I don't know how it's going to be received. I mean, anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a prude in any sense of the word, but I mean, I'll post it. I will.
Right.
Just
we
for you.
always feel guilty when we have guests and then we have a real serious segment and then later we're talking about shit like that.
Well, normally what we don't do, because we've learned our lesson, is that we don't normally invite the guests to stay on for the rest of the show. But I mean, we were almost done at this. Like, we had been on, because we kind of limit ourselves to about a 2-hour show, and so the subject matter was so entertaining. Well, then I figured, well, let's fly through the rest of this. However, I offered, but I didn't read any of this stuff. Nick sent this all to me today.
Mike's apologizing.
Yeah, so I'm apologizing. But the last one is this. All right. Kangaroos.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they exist?
Where do they exist?
Yeah.
Australia.
Australia, right? Is that right, Jenny?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of kangaroos being anywhere else naturally other than in a zoo? You know what I mean? And that's not natural.
Right. Maybe Madagascar.
I don't know. Okay, so
I don't know. I don't think so.
That's a guess, right? You're guessing. You've never heard of a kangaroo. Yeah. I mean, what about you?
I've never really pondered on this.
This digital reality is getting fucked over. There's kangaroos that exist in Papua New Guinea.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever heard?
Same area. Isn't that the place where the people wear the dick gourds?
Yes.
Okay.
But I never heard of kangaroos in Papua New Guinea.
Is that a technical term?
Papua New Guinea?
No, dick gourd.
Oh. Dick gourd.
It's a new term for
That's like cuck.
Yeah.
I know that's what you're going to say.
Dick gourd out of here.
This is my... There are kangaroos that exist in Papua New Guinea. That's mind-blowing to me.
Why? It's the same area.
No, it's...
Papua New Guinea used to be Australia, but broke off.
Right.
No, it didn't.
Like Pangea.
No, this is a lie. You mean it just filled up with water? It didn't break off. I don't know, maybe. What, they hopped?
Maybe they hopped across.
And they got stuck on Papua New Guinea.
Water.
I get it. It's north of Australia, but it's still it's amazing to me. Are there kangaroos?
Swimmer.
You think so?
Yeah.
I like kangaroos. I think that they're interesting creatures. I like that video of that kangaroo that's got
one?
that one, the one where he looks disapproving of everything that you're saying. I like that video of him, and I like the one where he's got that dog in a headlock, but he's nice to the dog. He's kind of just got a hold of him.
Here, I got a question for
All
both
right.
of you then.
All right.
Like kangaroos, when you think of it here where we are, you feel like it's almost kind of like a protected or endangered like species. Like you wouldn't hit one with a car or blast the fuck.
If there was
with
a kangaroo
shotgun.
running around,
Yeah.
no, I would. It would be, yeah,
Right.
right.
But our friend and listener in Australia,
We have a listener in Australia.
sent us a picture of
One.
like some kangaroo meat that was packaged ready to eat.
Right, and I would want to eat that.
Tastes good, right? So we were like, well, maybe we should start a kangaroo farm here in America. We're giving away our trade secrets.
Don't-
We're about to become
Yeah,
rich
what are you saying? This was
And
This was in
and
private.
Sell kangaroo meat wholesale, right?
yes.
But it seems bad. It's like selling sea turtles. you know? Like, what are you eating there? Oh, kangaroos.
Ooh.
You fucking animals. You know?
How do you live with yourself?
Comes with the side of bald
Would
eagle.
you eat kangaroo?
No.
No.
Because they stand on their back feet?
Is that why?
No, I mean, I just am not the most adventurous person in terms of of animal. Like, no, like.
You'll eat chicken.
I'll eat chicken. There's this thing called the beady-eyed diet, and I really think it's hilarious. So you can only eat an animal that has beady eyes. So like a chicken, any kind of like a crawfish or any kind of thing that lives in the ocean. Like if it has beady eyes, it doesn't have a soul, so you can eat it, right? It's obviously a lie and it's stupid, but I just thought it was funny. The beady-eyed diet.
Beady-eyed diet.
Ever seen a praying mantis?
It's
silently judging you when it's like
they are. They do have tiny eyes, but probably relatively large.
Right, relatively to their body size. Would you eat a praying mantis? Apparently, it's illegal to kill one.
Really?
It's illegal to do anything.
I had no idea. It's also illegal to walk down the street in a certain city in Utah carrying uncased ukulele.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't remember the city. I think it's Escalante. That does it, man.
Yeah. So it was an interesting show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being on again. And your website is?
moonstonemusings.com. And me and Heidi Vandenberg have our channel over at Channel 27. So come check us out. We do live readings. And
why don't you do a live reading of us?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That would be great. But you guys have to tune in. Like you have to like watch it and give us your birth information and we'll do your readings live. But I'm warning you, it's revealing.
Yeah, that's what I'd be worried about.
I don't have nothing to hide.
Okay,
Maybe
good.
I do.
Well, you don't have to give a fake one.
It's like the thing at Ghostbusters. Like, don't think of anything. Like,
fuck
it. Puff Marshmallow Man.
Right, clear your mind so I can't read you.
You can't do it? As long as,
What if she says something I don't want anybody to hear?
Like, your penis curves to the left.
We don't do that. We know where the lines are. People are kind enough to consent to have their charts read and their cards read. And we know when it's live, we keep it very within limits. But when it's personal, I mean, there are no limits when it's a one-on-one reading. We'll get into all kinds of stuff.
I think I'm good. I could do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst? Like, oh, you are, if you're going to tell me that I'm a psychopathic killer, that's like, that I have the future. I've already been told that once when I was a kid. I broke through that ceiling.
No. The stars, the planets and the stars that you were born under, there's all different kinds. This indicates everything from how your childhood was to whether or not you have issues with siblings, what some of your phobias are, what some of your hang-ups are. Like, we can tell you if you don't like kids, we can see that. If you don't like, if you don't like to travel, we can see that. So those are the type of things that are revealed in these readings, and it's a lot of fun. So again, thank you guys for having me. Really, I had a really good time. This was fun.
And we'll do the reading. Maybe not Nick.
Okay.
I will.
Okay. Great.
It'll be good for our show. Yeah.
I'm not scared.
Yeah, don't be scared.
There's nothing to be scared of, I promise you.
It was great having you. And
thank you.
I'll send you a link.
Okay.
All
Fantabulous.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, you guys.
Bye. Oh, I did it.
All right. So that was a good podcast.
I think so.
If you're a new listener and you came over from Channel 27.
Channel 27.
Hope you stick around. Hope to keep you as a listener. Talk about all kinds of shit. Crazy stuff. Good stuff. Bad stuff. If you're offended, email us at xspearheadx@yahoo.com. If you're YouTubing, make sure and like and subscribe down below. We like all the comments, the interaction. It helps. And like we asked before, if you listen on iTunes or any of the other podcast outlets, make sure and comment. Even if it says, this is the worst fucking podcast I've ever heard.
Right.
Because it helps us somehow. And there's no way we're going to become millionaire kangaroo farmers without
the support.
Better podcast and shitty comments on all our fucking shows. So,
kangaroo farmers.
Dude, I would love to tell us some of that. What do you do? I farm
kangaroos.
Where? Oklahoma. What do you do for them?
I fucking
kill them and package them.
People wouldn't believe. They wouldn't believe you. Number one, they'd be like, "There's no kangaroos here," and be like,
"There's a huge market for kangaroo meat in Oklahoma.
Huge.
It's got to know where to look."
Yeah.
Grab up and reach it, or
reach up and grab it.
That's from Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks again to our guest, Jenny Moonstone. Appreciate having you on.
Moonstonemusings.com.
Check out our website. Watch for a future debate between her and Michelle
Kelly
Obama.
McGillis.
You think Michelle Obama would be on the podcast?
Maybe.
Never heard to try.
Old Big Mike.
Cracks me up every time for some reason. I can't get what's her name, the Olympic gymnast, to get back with me, or the girl from American Pie,
or Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. I gave up on him. Arnold's reaching his point to start being on podcasts, so he's.
You think?
Yeah, he's doing horrible movies now, man.
Yeah, but I don't think that does. I don't think that's the indicator of him coming on the Spearhead transmission. We might be able to get his. You think we get his maid?
The one he knocked up?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We need more guests or less guests? Let us know in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it.
Yep. That's all I got.
All right.
I'm ready to go home.
All right. Adios, muchachos. Thanks again, Jenny. Adios, muchachos.
Is this on?
Yeah, it still is. Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for all the comments. It's funny. If we didn't actually, it's hard to read these, and there's some funny shit in here. Can you hear me?
I don't know.
Anyway, thanks for commenting on the YouTube live chat.
They probably can't hear you.
Can't hear me.
I'm going to stop streaming.